Hey everyone, Dan here. It took a second for the thing to go live, so threw me off a second. Anyway, thought I'd pop on and have a quick two-topic video. The first being Black Widow's being moved again. Now, this move may actually mean it's really going to happen. And the reason I say that is they've actually decided to release it on July 9th, along with releasing it on Disney Plus at the same time. Now, they've done that with Raya and the Last Dragon. They did that with Mulan. And they're talking about doing it with a couple movies, but only a couple. So I think they're still worried about the theater reopening. I know LA is opened again. I know New York is opened again. And where you would think that May would be close enough, I don't think they wanted to risk it. But they're also going to do the premium access on Disney Plus. So if you want to go see Black Widow in the theater, July 9th. But if you're not ready to jump back into a theater yet, because we're only looking at May 1st being when everybody is supposed to have access to the vaccine, which means that not everybody will get it May 1st, just that it'll be accessible. So it may not be until June or July before we get everybody vaccinated. So July 9th, you can go to the theater and see Black Widow. But if you're not comfortable with that, you will have the option of paying the extra money and watching it on Disney Plus. So right now, I think that's the best option. I agree with Disney. I think they're doing the right thing. They don't plan on doing that with a lot of films, none of the rest of the Marvel movies. For instance, Shang Chi. Now, Shang Chi was originally set to debut July 9th. It's going to get bumped till September 3rd, but it's still currently being planned as just a straight theatrical release. Now, Marvel hasn't released anything in September that I know of. They've done November, they've done February, March, May. They've hit a lot of other months, but there hasn't been a September release yet. So this should be interesting to see how Shang-Chi does, especially it's a minor character. I mean, if you put Spider-Man here and Iron Man here and Black Widow like here, you're looking at Shang-Chi is not even in the screen anymore because he's just not that popular of a character. There's never been a live action version of him that I'm aware of. There's no animated versions that I mean, he might have popped up in like the Avengers series or something else, but I don't know of him actually showing up in, he definitely doesn't have his own series, or he's not the headliner of an animated series. And he hasn't even had that many comics about him. I mean, he had his initial run back in the 70s. He's popped up a couple times in miniseries or small series. He's just never been that big a character. He's a great character, and I look forward to this movie. I think this is their Bruce Lee style movie. It should be really good. But I don't think he's going to have the initial draw that Black Widow has now after having been such a big role in all the Avengers movies and Captain America Civil War and Captain America Winter Soldier. And, Scarlett Johansson's also a much bigger household name. But so July 9th, Black Widow, I'm pointing it here because she's on my screen here, but she's over there for you guys. So Black Widow, July 9th, Shang-Chi moves to September 3rd. Now, there's a bunch of other movies that are getting moved. Most of them you can look up pretty easily. The one that matters to me, I'm a huge mystery fan, a huge Agatha Christie fan, and really loved The Murder on the Orient Express that Kenneth Branagh did. Well, he's back in another one, which will be Death on the Nile, and that's getting bumped to February. So February 2022. But so that's the movie they've put out. Now, again, it's only a couple movies that are going to get the dual release anymore. So hopefully by September, we're all back and everybody's good. We can go to theaters because, I don't know, I want to see these on the big screen. So there's a good chance in July 9th, I'm going to be at the theater watching Black Widow. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to go back to the theater. And the fact that I've gotten one of my vaccines, by then I'll have both. So I'm I'm ready. Hopefully, we're ready as a country. But that we've gotten this thing beaten down, and going back makes sense. But if not, I will get it on Disney Plus. Either way, I'm going to watch this movie because I've been waiting for it for a long time. It's one that should have been out years ago. They should have given her own movie a long time ago. Now, other thing I wanted to talk about today, and this came to mind over the weekend when I was rewatching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that is the upcoming Hawkeye series. Now, I've got a lot of mixed emotions about this series. I am a fan of Hawkeye. I am a fan of Archers. Green Arrow, Hawkeye. I mean, I love Archers. I grew up reading Robin Hood. I just love Archer characters. I've done archery myself even. So Hawkeye is high on my list. I love Jeremy Renner's take on him. I think he's been great in all the movies. He brings a lot of good humor. But I'm watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm thinking, here we get to see what Bucky and Falcon are dealing with having come back from the blip. All of the trouble, the bank loan thing that Falcon can't get a loan because he hasn't had income for 2 years or 5 years, and how his sisters had to take care of everything while he was gone, and how his nephews are now like little men at this point. He's lost 5 years with them. Then we look back at WandaVision and we see Monica, how she lost like 2 or 3 years with her mom, who had recovered from cancer and had actually lived another couple of years while Monica was gone, and then she passed. And that's tragic too. But what I was thinking is, we haven't really seen the story of someone that was here, that lost people and got them back. And that is what I think Hawkeye is going to be. Because if you remember in the movie, he lost his whole family to the blip. It broke him. It damaged him to the point that he went on a spree of taking out bad guys and put on a whole new costume as Ronin and had swords and was going around killing Yakuza. And I want to see what it was like in those 5 years that, we didn't see. Now, I don't know what the series is going to focus on. I was hesitant because they introduced Kate Bishop, and I'm not a fan of I don't want to say legacy characters, but I'm not a fan of, hey, look, there's Hawkeye. Oh, there's another Hawkeye. There's one Hawkeye. Now, if Jeremy Renner or if Clint Barton is done being Hawkeye and someone else picks up the bow like Kate Bishop, all right. Not a huge fan of that. I like characters that get their own names and their own legacies and stuff like that. But if, the fact that they're going to introduce this other character and she's going to call herself Hawkeye too, I'm not a fan of that. So it's nothing against Kate Bishop. It's nothing against the writing or of the actress who's coming in. All of that looks good to me. But I'm just not a fan of the whole, two Hawkeyes at the same time. I've read the Matt Fraction, David Aja. Not sure how to pronounce his last name. I apologize to David. But I enjoyed the run. But again, that part bothers me. And maybe if Hawkeye takes the name Ronin, that's his thing. But I want this to focus on whether it takes place during the 5 years and we see what he did and how he went from being Hawkeye to Ronin, or if it's post that and he's dealing with the ramifications of, you spent 5 years mourning the loss of your entire family, and then suddenly they're back. It's joyous to have your family back, but you've changed. Your entire world has changed. What you've done over the last 5 years, and then suddenly you can't just go back to the way things were. I mean, that's the story I want to see, and I am really hoping that's what Hawkeye gives us. And I'll be disappointed if it doesn't. And not saying that I won't like the series. I don't know what they're doing. It's just being filmed now. But that potential there for us to see Hawkeye going through all of this, to be broken, and then to come back, and then to, I mean, he doesn't come across as the same person in Endgame as he did up until then. And you see that the loss of his family has really hurt him. So that's the story I want to know. That's what I'm hoping they show us. So that's why I'm looking forward to the Hawkeye series. Andrew has popped up and said, "This is fate reminding Disney and Marvel Studios that Black Widow should have been released earlier." Absolutely. Black Widow should have gotten a movie long before Infinity War. I think coming out of Winter Soldier, she was a strong enough lead character to put her in her own film. Scarlett Johansson is a big enough name at that point to carry a movie. I believe she was. So, yeah, Marvel dropped the ball here. And the fact that it's just now coming out, they could have done the Disney Plus release for it back, a year ago, but we had the year, we had our own blip. We had the year without Marvel, without the MCU, and we're just now starting to recover from it slowly with WandaVision and now Falcon and Winter Soldier. So you got to take those steps slowly, bringing it back. So let's not rush it too much. We're going to get a lot of good movies pretty quickly. We're going to get Shang Chi. We're going to get Black Widow. We're going to get the Eternals. And Spider-Man. So that's all going to be fun. But anyway, let me wrap this up. Like I said, it was a short video. Just wanted to come on, talk about the moving of Black Widow and also why I'm looking forward to Hawkeye. And like I said, I wasn't as looking forward to Hawkeye as I was now. So I usually turn my phone off and it's a telemarketer, so I'm not going to answer. Okay, hey, Andrew, what else you got here? Truth, doing a post-Civil War Black Widow was the way to do it. Yeah, absolutely. We should have seen what she was doing after going on the run, after releasing all her files. We should have seen all her enemies coming after her. She's no longer got the protection of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's the time. And then suddenly you're throwing in the October Guard. Is it October Guard or is that G.I. Joe? The Soviet super soldiers. That's when you get Ursa Major, you get the Red Guardian, you get Vanguard and Dark Star, and you can throw in, just a ton of amazing characters. Crimson Dynamo could pop up. And I know they sort of did Crimson Dynamo and Iron Man 2, but no one's going to talk about that because it really wasn't. That was Whiplash. So yeah, they could have just called it Black Widow Red Room, as Andrew, absolutely should have been done. And it's a shame they didn't, because this character could have had a lot more story to tell. And the fact that they waited till after they killed her, so we know it's finite. Now, this is the Marvel Universe, which means that the odds that a character stays dead are kind of slim. They always come back. But, so I know there's some stories about maybe Yelena Belova would come up. Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yep. October Guard is G.I. Joe. I'm crossing my Russian super groups with my Russian paramilitary groups. So, but it is the Soviet super soldiers are the Marvel version. The October Guard is a great name. And I think I would have preferred that for the Marvel characters. But all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Again, looking forward to Hawkeye. Black Widow, also looking forward to it. She's on the move. Will be July 9th. That may be the first time I get back in theater, because it was going to be May next time I go to the theater, because I'm going to be in the theater to see Black Widow. So maybe if all, I know right now you can do the whole rent out a theater thing. Maybe I should do that, get a bunch of friends together and, go see the movie. See how that goes. But, remember tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, I will be doing the new comic show over on The Experience with Kyle Northrup. So you can join me there. We'll talk about all the new books coming out. And there's some really fun ones coming out, including a new Aliens. Marvel is putting out Aliens #1 this week. So if you haven't been to the comic shop in a while and you're a fan of Aliens, go hit the shop this week. Aliens #1 is going to hit theaters, or hit the shops. Also, as someone who's written both these characters, I am looking forward to Vampirella versus Purgatory #1 from Dynamite. Both those characters are a lot of fun, and they've got some similarities, but to put them against each other, and then I believe the story also has to bring them together. So it's a classic comic story where you've got the two protagonists that come head to head and then end up having to work together against an even bigger threat. So both those books are in shops this week, along with another Taskmaster #3, which Black Widow, Taskmaster. Yeah. Some great books coming out this week. Carnage, Black, White, and Blood. There's a new Batman Black and White, Teen Titans Academy, where they introduced Red X, and a new Harley Quinn series. So if you're a Harley Quinn fan, a brand new monthly series as Harley heads back to Gotham to not only make up for the sins of her past, but to help Gotham through what the Joker just did to them, which is pretty big for some of the big things DC is doing right now. So there's some great books in the shops this week. You can, if you don't know where your local comic shop is, there's the Comic Book Shop Locator service, which is the website. Just put in Comic Book Shop Locator, or just put Comic Book Shop in Google, and that's going to find it for you too. Find your local store, go visit, and they're going to be all COVID compliant. They're going to take care of you, hook you up. Tell them I sent you. Maybe you can find some of my old books there, like The Freeze, the trade paperback of The Freeze. That's out there. So hit stores tomorrow. Join me tonight for New Comic Showcase. I think it's in stores this week is what we call it, with Kyle Northrup and I. And then I'll be back Thursday night to do my Falcon and Winter Soldier pre-show. And of course, the rest of the stuff. I may be doing some more shows during the week, but this one just popped up and I thought it was worth talking about the new time for Black Widow and my thoughts on Hawkeye. Thanks for joining, and we will talk soon. Have a great day.